Perfect. All right. Shrimp pancakes. Now, I'll try just about any recipe. And when I saw this, I was intrigued. Shrimp? Oh, I love shrimp. They're probably one of my favorite sources of protein. Pancakes? Everyone loves pancakes. But combining shrimp, vegetables, and pancakes together? Oh, I had to try it. And it was delicious. So we're making it again. Today on Caleb Eats, we are making shrimp pancakes from Jamie Oliver's One. This is a very nice cookbook. It focuses exclusively on dishes that require only one pan, which is great. Makes cleanup so very nice. And this recipe is actually probably my favorite from this cookbook. And what really makes this recipe great is it includes a secret recipe. Or a secret ingredient, I should say. Yes, Jamie includes a secret ingredient that you put in right at the very end. Makes this recipe so delicious. So make sure you stick around till the end to see what that secret ingredient is. But we're going to get started. We're going to start by getting our shrimp all ready. And this is actually where a lot of people make mistakes, including myself. Until this week, I was making a terrible mistake. And so today, for the first time ever, I corrected it, and my shrimp peas are still a little okay. Basically what it is, or what the issue is that shrimp peas, I'm just going to call them shrimp peas, I mean shrimp, they don't want to be eaten. Let's just say it that way. And because of that, basically what happens is when a shrimp dies, its digestive system kind of breaks down. And in that process, it basically starts digesting itself. It just starts breaking down the proteins, breaking down the body of the shrimp, which is why when shrimp are caught right away, they're frozen. Typically the head is removed because removing the head also stops the digestive system from decomposing the body. And so the biggest thing you want to do is you want to make sure that your shrimp stay frozen for as long as possible. Mine were frozen until this morning. They're still frozen. So we're going to do the old cold water trick. One sec, let me wash my hands. And reposition you guys so you can see my sink. I'm going over a little bit. Whee! Whee! There it is. Oh, one more. Perfect. All right. Yeah, so these are completely frozen. Not completely frozen. They're mostly frozen. I was hoping that in my fridge, they were going to defrost. So what we're going to do to get these shrimp nice and defrosted is we're just going to run some cold water over them. You want to make sure it's cold. If you do hot water, you're going to cook your shrimp, and we don't want that yet. We want to do that later in the recipe. So cold water, make sure it's cold. Okay, and then they're just in the colander. We're just going to run them under the cold water. So the biggest thing, again, with your shrimp is just make sure that you are keeping them nice and frozen until you need them. Something you'll notice is with shrimp, when they are thawed, they start going bad in about 24 hours after they're thawed. So, we don't want that. We don't want our shrimp to get all mushy. The other thing with shrimp is that because they are, wow, these are defrosting very nicely. Dang. Okay, the cold water trick works beautifully. I think they're all defrosted now. Yes. That one's defrosted, and that one's defrosted. Perfect. All right, we're going to put this colander back in the bowl. Wash my hands. Shrimpies are also known for carrying some bacteria. There's none, I didn't find any that were like notoriously evil, but because they are in a marine environment, because they are in water, in cold environments, a lot of times the bacteria that they carry can be cold resistant as well. So that's another reason why you want to keep them nice and frozen until you're ready to use them. All right, let's put the camera back where it was, and we're going to talk about processing these little shrimpers. All right, let me get my cutting board. Whee! So the biggest thing when we are prepping shrimp is we have to devein them. And what this means is we are removing the digestive tract. So in these shrimpies, along this back ridge, there's going to be their intestines. we're going to remove those. There are actually 3 different ways to remove intestines that I found online. So we are going to test the 3 different ways to devein shrimp, and we're going to see which way is the best. We have 10 shrimp, I believe, here, so shouldn't take too long. Let me get my tools for the other methods. All right, so the 3 methods we're going to be using. I need my trash bowl. Very important. Trash bowl. 3 methods we're going to be testing. We're going to be testing the. There's shrimp on me. All right, so we're going to be testing using a knife to cut open the shrimp and just pull out the intestines. That's the method I have used in the past, so I'm excited to see how the other methods stack up to that. We got our tweezers. I don't think this method's going to work. Just looking at these shrimp, I don't think it's going to work. And then we have the toothpick method. This one I'm very curious to try, so we'll see what happens. But basically, we're just going to take the skin, I don't know, shell. There's the word I'm looking for. Take the shell off these shrimp, and we're going to devein it. We're going to start just with, the method I used to. We'll do that for a couple. Then we'll do the other methods. We'll see which ones I like the most. So this is really easy. You're just going to grab at the bottom, and just like that. I'm actually going to. All right. So then once you have your shrimp like that, then we're just going to take our knife. We're going to run it along the back of the shrimp, and hopefully, yes, there it is. This is always, the most enjoyable part of eating shrimp is deveining them. No, it's not. All right. I forgot to get a bowl for these little shrimpers once they're done, so we're just going to put them back over here, back in there. All right, there's one. That was the knife method. Very simple, very straightforward. Hardest thing with that is just, you have to actually pull out the guts, which is a little disgusting. All right, we're going to try the tweezer method. What you're supposed to do with the tweezer method is you take the tweezers. You're supposed to be able to pinch the guts and then lightly wiggle them out. I don't see. Oh, we definitely got the guts there. No. Yuck, gross. No, this is not working. All right, that's disappointing. So, tweezer method failed. So we're gonna try the toothpick method. This one's very interesting. Apparently, you can do this method without even taking the shells off. We're gonna still take the shells off, but you take your toothpick. So in this case, we have our tail. We have one more link, and then you're gonna put the toothpick in underneath the intestines, like so. Then we're supposed to pull up. Oh, and the intestines exploded. Oh, that's disgusting. Okay. We'll try that method again, because that one I feel like has more promise than the tweezer method that didn't do anything. Pull this off. There we go. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that didn't work at all. It tried to work. In theory, what is supposed to happen is that the toothpick, I'm going to use the toothpick for this step. Toothpick is supposed to catch the guts, pull them out, and then we're good to go. It did not do anything. Let's try it again. All right, second digit. Stick that toothpick in underneath where the intestine should be. And pull up. No, we're just severing shrimp meat. All right. I think toothpick method failed. I might be doing something wrong because someone online did it very well, and I did exactly what they did, and I failed miserably. So, try and true method. Use your knife, people. Very, very easy, very straightforward. It might not be, as fancy as being able to use a toothpick, but it definitely gets the job done. So we'll just finish off these shrimp. I was really hoping one of those methods was going to be cool because, just using a knife is kind of boring. It'd be very interesting if there was a different way to peel shrimpies, but all right. This one appears to not have a digestive tract. That's unique. Sometimes that happens. I don't understand how this is the case, but sometimes, that's also why the method didn't work for the toothpick. Okay, we should bring the toothpick back. We should try it on at least one more that actually has a digestive system. Now, this recipe calls for 6 ounces of shrimp. There's not enough shrimp in my opinion. I'm going to do a little bit more. When I weighed these out this morning when they were frozen, it was about 10 ounces. Each of these shrimp was almost exactly 1 ounce. This one barely has a digestive tract either. Wow. That's really... Oh my gosh. I'll just put the shrimp in with the shells. We don't want that. Oh, yes, they're not trash. All right, well, we may have chosen the wrong shrimp to test out the methods on because, well, we did test it on one. The tweezer method does not work. We don't know what people are thinking when they do that. If you can do it, show me. Send me a video. I don't know. Send me a video on Caleb Eats, my Instagram page. I want to see it if it's possible. I don't know if it's possible. It definitely was not possible for me. We will finish up these. Now, the interesting thing with shrimp, oh, this one does have it. Darn it. I already took off the shell. Perfect. All right. We have, it looks like 3 or 4 more shrimp to do. And then we will get going. Ah, this one has some grossness. It's really interesting, or I think it's really interesting, how some shrimp have all sorts of guts inside them, and others don't. Now, technically, this step is not entirely required. It's not like a health concern. It's not a requirement that you remove the guts from your shrimp. Apparently, sometimes it can get a little gritty, which sounds awful. So I don't want grittiness with my shrimp. But it's also more just like personal preference. I don't really relish the idea of consuming the innards of shrimp. Oh, so I removed them. Now you will hear some people talk about an under vein, which I have long removed. Apparently, it is just part of, it's not actually anything to do with the shrimp itself. It's just like part of their body structure. It just looks like another vein. So apparently I've been removing an extra vein for no reason. So that's fun. Like I said, I learned so much about shrimp this week when I was preparing for this stream. Okay. Oh, that goes in my trash bowl. Perfect. Yeah, and it is a surprisingly little amount of shrimp that we need for this recipe. But, it's going to be delicious. We're going to chop up about half of these shrimp, and we'll put those in with the batter. And then the other half is going to be on top, or technically on top, but when we put it, it's going to be at the bottom as like the little bit of decor, make it look fancy. Okay, this is a nasty looking. Yuck. Yuck, yuck, yuck. We're going to rinse this one because this one just looks nasty. Cold water. Yuck. Yeah, a lot of times you can just pull it out as one giant line, but that one was no bueno. No bueno. Wow. There's that. Perfect. Okay, we got one more shrimp after this. Now, if you don't know the trick, I should have mentioned this earlier. If you don't know the trick with shrimp and their tails, you want to pinch the tail to help get the flesh out. So I'll show you on our final shrimper. So after you remove most of the shell, which again, we're just grabbing by the legs, pulling around, wrapping it and pulling it off, just like so. Once you're done with that, and then you just have the tail, what you're going to do is you're going to pinch top and bottom, and then you can either just rip the tail open, sometimes I do that, or you can like pinch and wiggle it out, just like so. And there's that. All right, our final shrimper. Now I am going to clean this counter because some shrimp juices have escaped my reach, and that's unacceptable. Perfect, there's that. Let me wash my hands. Now we're using hot water because we're washing our hands. Let it warm up a little. There we go. And some soap. So I'm going to chop up 5 of these shrimp, because again, it calls for half to be chopped up. And I'll put those in a little bowl. And then we'll put the other ones in a little bowl. Then we'll be good to go. I'm going to just use this real quick. I'm going to do somewhat small pieces since these are bigger shrimp. I would like to get shrimp nicely distributed across the entirety of the pancake. So we're going to do, it looks like I'm doing about 4 or 5 pieces per shrimp. About at somewhere between a 1/2 inch and a 1/4 inch, I would guess. If I was just to roughly estimate the size I'm using. What was this, 3? I think this is a 3rd or 4th. I don't know. We'll know when I'm done because there'll be 5 left. This is a big boy. We might do more chunks of you. Yes, we're going to get... Oh, yeah. There we go. Yeah, 6 chunks out of that one. Big boy. Right, let's see. We have 5 left. So we'll put those in here. These will be our decoration shrimp to put on top. All right, we'll put this over here. This hand has been contaminated. I'm going to hold it like so. Uh-oh, I just touched shrimp with this hand. Both hands have been contaminated. That's okay, because everything here has also been contaminated. So we're just gonna move this over by the sink to wash later. Wash our hands again. A bit more so. There we go. All right, now it's time to make, well, now it's time to wipe down the countertop so that we get rid of any residual shrimp guts. And then it's time to make our dough. Residual shrimp guts all gone. And we'll dry the counter. All right, let's make our dough. So there's going to be a couple things we're going to use. First things first, we are actually going to mix together our flour, some baking powder, and some salt. The recipe calls for self-rising flour. Personally, I don't got none of that, but we can make our own. So a lot of times, self-rising flour is going to be made with a slightly lesser, slightly lower mill. I think that's what it's called, lower mill of wheat. So it's a lot of times it's going to be lighter than your traditional flours. In this case, I just got traditional flours. So we're going to, the other thing with self-rising flour is it has leavening agents already in it, but you can, add your leavening agents into flour and you get your own self-rising flour. The reason I have my scale out is flour is notoriously easy to pack, and when you pack it, you get more than you actually need. So we want, a cup is 120 grams, 120 grams. We need 3/4 of a cup, so we need 90 grams. So I'm just gonna, 97. That was crazy. Okay, we gotta get rid of 7 grams. There we go, perfect. Just like so. And then we're going to add just over a teaspoon of baking powder and just under 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. Baking powder, salt. Technically, the main recipe for self-rising flour that I found is 2 cups of flour to 3 tablespoons, good lord, 3 teaspoons of baking powder to a quarter teaspoon of salt. Since we need about 3/4 of a cup of everything, we're gonna change it. We gotta do some math. We gotta reduce it. And because I can't do 9/8 of a teaspoon, we're just gonna do about a teaspoon and then some. There's that. We'll leave this to mix it with. Put our baking powder away. And then our salt. About half of this measurement right there. Cool. So we're gonna mix this up. That is the big thing if you are making your own self-rising flour, is you do want to make sure it's nicely mixed, because with self-rising flour, it's industrially mixed. So you gotta hear how your leavening agents everywhere. Oh, perfect. I'm gonna call that good. All right, so to this flour, we are going to be adding 2 eggs. Make sure, 2 eggs, you have 2 eggs. We're also going to be adding some water, and then we're going to be adding a little bit of some Chinese 5-spice. So I'll talk about that when we get there. First things first, 2 eggs. 2 lovely eggs. We'll put those there. Don't roll away. No, don't do it. Don't do it. I'm going to open my trash can so I can just throw the shells in right when I crack them. So, very easy. Whee! Crack. If you're one of those skilled people that can do a one-hand crack, go for it. This is your chance. You want to see my best attempt? Here we go. It didn't work. Oh no! No, there's shell in there. There's one big piece of shell. All right. As you can see, I cannot crack an egg with one hand. Oh. For me to work on. All right, so we have our eggs, our flour. Now we're going to add 7 tablespoons of water. Now, instead of me doing literally 7 tablespoons of water, one little hack is that 8 tablespoons is a half cup. So I'm going to measure a half cup of water. I am then going to remove a tablespoon of water, and then we'll be good to go. And can you, I'm going off camera. I'm getting water. I'm getting some filtered water in my half cup measurement. Oh no, I'm spilling water. All right, so we have a half cup of water. We have our tablespoon measurement. I'm going to remove a tablespoon. I'm going to add 7 tablespoons. And I'm going to drink this water. Ah, delicious. All right, that's all in there. Now we get to add the final ingredient, which is our 5-spice. Now, Chinese 5-spice is something that's a very, very traditional ingredient in Chinese cuisine. It's comprised of 5 different spices. So we have anise, fennel, cinnamon, cloves, and black pepper. And the 5 is kind of dually symbolic. It can be looked at from a cuisine perspective as in being 5 different flavors, those being sour, bitter, sweet, salty, and savory. Or you can look at it as the 5 traditional elements, or the 5 traditional Chinese elements, being water, wood, fire, metal, and earth. Either way, I really like this spice. I hadn't tried it until I, tried this recipe, and it's really good. I put it on my eggs. I've put it with some other things, and it just adds a very nice, well-rounded flavor. So we need 1 teaspoon, I believe. Let's make sure. Yes, 1 teaspoon. Again, if you're new to Caleb Eats, I'm using a half teaspoon measurement because this fits so perfectly in these jars, and my full teaspoon measurement does not at all. All right, so that is all together. Now we're gonna whiskey. Excuse me while I go off screen and get my whiskey. Let's see. Can you guys see that? Let's see. Oh yeah. We're gonna whisk this all together. This is going to be our dough. Here, let me move you guys down so you can see me whisk this a little bit more. Whee! There we go. Whiskey. We're just trying to get all of those lumps of flour gone. so that we have a nice smooth dough. And now to this, we are going to add our chopped shrimp. So I think that looks pretty good. I think that looks good. So let me go get my chopped shrimp. Actually, I don't think we need this anymore. I'm going to change to a spatula because we will need a spatula later on. Let me get my spatula, my raw shrimpers, in they go. Perfect. And now we will fold those in like, there you go. Like the recipe says to do. Just like so. Perfect. Now that that is done, we will get our pan ready. Let me put you guys back on so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Perfect. So we are going to be using a big pan. I believe this is a 10 to 12 inch pan, somewhere in there. I could measure it. I'm not going to. We're going to put it on a medium high heat. And what's going to happen is we're going to get that nice and hot. I'm going to use some bacon grease. He says to use some type of oil. Where to go? He doesn't even say. We're going to put bacon grease in there. We're going to sprinkle some sesame seeds all across it. We're going to position our 5 shrimp nice and decoratively in that pan. Then we're going to pour this on top. We're going to put our vegetables, which I'll get out right now. And then we'll let it cook. So we're going to get our veggies out. We are using frozen vegetables. Like I said, this cookbook is really all about making recipes really easy to create. Obviously, I added a whole step of getting shell-on shrimp. I could have just gotten shell-off shrimp. But I didn't, because I wanted to try out those 3 different methods, and they were very disappointing. Break up that stuff. All right. Now, we do need to weigh out this. This is a pound of frozen vegetables. I only need 10 ounces. So we're going to bring out the scale again. Scale is making a double appearance in one episode. Get my scissors. All right, we are at 0. And now, wow, okay. A couple of these things need to be chopped down a little bit in size. Oh. All right, we'll call that good. Yeah, did you guys see that string bee? Or that, what I believe is a string bee? Bean? I can't pronounce words, apparently. We're going to snap that boy up, because most of these are a good size. That thing was not. Put the scissors away. Let's look in here. Let's see what we've got going on. All right, so we have our nice, carrots, broccoli, peppers, onions, all very normal sizes. Then we have this. This thing is huge. So I'm just going to snap it up into pieces. Now, sometimes people get in a debate on whether frozen veggies are just as good as fresh, and they are. From a nutritional perspective, absolutely the same. So they're actually a lot easier because they don't go bad. So from a storage perspective, they're great. The only difference, of course, is texture. Because when they are frozen, the ice crystals tend to puncture the cell structure. When you defrost frozen veggies, they're usually going to lose that textural crunch that fresh will have. So other than that, like if you don't care about crunchy vegetables, frozen is the way to go, let me tell you. All right, so we got all that. We have our sesame seeds over here. Also, while we wait, we're going to also get our soy sauce. Once this is done cooking, we'll put a little bit of soy sauce on top of it just to add some nice flavor. So we'll get that ready because, whoa, I almost dropped it. That was bad. That would have been bad. I believe we need 2 teaspoons. Yes, 2 teaspoons. That's half a tablespoon. That's not what we want. There we go. And after this, we'll check on the pan, see if it's getting nice and hot. And then if it is, I'll move you guys over there so we can see what's going on. Whee! I think that was the first wee of the day. Took a while. Took like 30 minutes to get to the first wee. So we got our soy sauce ready. I'm going to put this back in the fridge. See, this is getting kind of hot. Make it a little bit hotter. Yeah. So once that's ready, then it's time to go. I'm actually going to get that half tablespoon measurement back out because we need 1 tablespoon of these sesame seeds, and this will be perfect because I think this will fit right in gloriously. We have our shrimpers. We have this. I had the eggs on, so that can go back over there to its home. All right. Now, when I first made this, I was very excited to try it because, you know, shrimp and pancakes and veggies, it sounds delicious. And I was not let down. So I'm hoping that this second time around, delicious. And again, like I said, there is a secret ingredient. Secret ingredient is hiding right in plain sight, right here. It will be unveiled later. But that secret ingredient, oh, so delicious. Makes this meal very, very good. It really adds a nice depth. So, uh-oh. Ginger. My dogs are barking. Ginger, don't bark, please. All right, let's see if this is probably hot enough. We're gonna put some bacon grease in there. So, whenever you cook bacon grease, or whenever you cook bacon, you always have, the grease left over. And what we've started doing is we save it. So we have this little jar. We have several of these little jars in our fridge, but it's just bacon. So we're gonna, let's see, I'll bring you guys over here so that you can see what's going on in this pan so you're not way over here. We don't want you way over here. We want you want to be where the food is. Uh-oh, gimbal is malfunctioning. There we go. A little lower. There it is. Perfect. All right, so here's the bacon grease. As you can see, little chunks of bacon in there. It makes it delicious. We're just going to use a spoon. I'm, again, going to use my grapefruit spoon. I love this thing. I'm going to go with probably, what is that, about a tablespoon? Just put that in there. Let it melt. If you've never used this technique with butter or anything, it's a great technique. Because if you just put it there and just let it melt on its own, it'll melt. It'll be fine. But if you're able to use something to move it around the pan, it melts a lot faster. And you get a nice distribution of the grease, fat, oil, butter, whatever you're using. You get it spread all over the pan. Like so. All right, we're gonna let those last bits melt on their own accord. And at a certain point, you can't help. You can't help. They just gotta do their own. Perfect. All right, let's see how hot this is. I'm looking at how quickly the grease is moving. It's moving decently well. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna go in with our sesame seeds. These are just gonna be sprinkled across, like so. And one more time. Ooh, all over the place. Delicious. And now, it's time to be creative. We have 5 shrimp, so we have to position them perfectly. I'm going to put one in the center. I'm basically going to do like a 5 from a dice. So I'll put one here. Ooh, you can hear the sizzle. That means we're good. Good to go. Just like so. Uh-oh. Did a sesame seed just jump out? That's not acceptable. There's the nut. Now I gotta wash my hands again. Oh no! And now we're going in with our dough right on top. We're gonna have to, there we go. This is where the spatula comes in handy because I gotta spread this around. This is much thinner than I remember it being last time. I wonder if I doubled the recipe last time. It's possible. Because this is incredibly thin. I don't remember it being this thin last time. Alright. Let's spread that around. make sure it's in all the. And now we are going to be adding the veggies. The veggies go in on top, just like so. That's a big old piece of broccoli. Wow, look at all this. Look at all this. Yeah, I definitely had more dough last time. I don't remember what I did differently, though. That's interesting. Don't know what to tell you. Alrighty, there's that. Now we're going to reduce the heat to medium-low, and we're going to cover it. Let me make sure I haven't missed any steps. I have not. Cover it. And you guys are going back to your stand. Whee! So that's going to cook for about... Whoa. There we go. That's a little too high. There we go. All right, so that's going to cook for about 10 minutes. Then once it's done, we have to confidently, he says, and I quote, confidently turn out the pancake. And you got to be confident, because if you're not confident, nothing's going all over the place. So confidence is key. But we'll let that cook for about 10 minutes. Then we'll flip it out. Then the secret ingredient, it's going to be glorious. But while we wait for that to cook, we got nothing else to do. But we've built this whole stash of dirty dishes. And we don't want to do those after. We have 10 minutes now. Let's wash them now. I am now that I have put that in the pan, I am 100% positive that last time I made this recipe, I doubled it. Because last time I made this, there was a lot of dough. Like, so much dough that it didn't even, it covered all of the shrimp and then some. And this time, the shrimp were visible. As you saw, the shrimp were still very visible. So it seems that we're actually doing a single serving this time. Technically, this recipe calls for 2, which should be perfectly fine for tonight. But I'm wondering if that's why I did more last time. Because I think last time there were a little bit more people eating. But there was a lot left over, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what it's like when it's done cooking. See, anyone got any questions? Let me know in the chat. Doesn't look like it. I'm very disappointed that the shrimp methodologies were a bust. That's why I didn't do any of the shrimp preparation ahead of time. So I was like, this is going to be great. We'll try out different methods. We'll see which one works. And then none of them worked. And then you just had to watch me sell 10 shrimp, which was really boring, I'm sure. So I apologize about that. All the dishes. All the dishes in all the world. It is funny that basically if someone says they like to cook, typically, it also means that they not necessarily like to wash dishes, but that means that they're washing a fair amount of dishes, because to cook is to make dishes. And unless you're I don't know, buying new dishes all the time, which sounds like a terrible approach. Don't do that approach. You gotta wash your dishes. So yeah. 1 second. My dog is trying to attack my other dog. Hey. We don't know what happened. One of my dogs has gotten very vicious in her old age. She just barks at the other one. And the other one's half deaf, half blind. So, it's crazy. But such is the life of dog ownership. We love them, even though they're crazy. We also have a cat. And we love cats. If you've never had a cat and you don't like cats, the problem is that you've never had a cat. Once you get a cat, it'll change your life forever. Certainly changed mine. Yuck. The shrimp board is not wanting to go clean. Come on. Come on. Thank you. Oh, we have a few more dishes. Then we will check the pancake. See how it's doing. And then I think we're almost done. It's going to be great. It's going to be delicious. I believe. I am on screen. Yes, I am perfect. That's one of the things, making sure I'm on screen, because I don't know where you guys can see me and where you can't. Let us. I'm going to check that pancake. I'm going to check that pancake after I finish this bowl, just so that we can get an idea of where we are left. Let's take a gander. Okay, we definitely have more time to cook, which is not surprising. It's about 5 minutes, but I'll take you guys over here so you can see what we're looking at. So about 5 minutes later, as you can see, the dough is starting to cook. Right here especially is starting to cook, but then we also got a lot of areas where it's still pretty raw. And the shrimp that are visible are also very raw. So we'll let it keep cooking. Again, it's only been 5 minutes. It's not surprising. Perfect. All right, and we only got a couple more dishes left. So that'll be good. Hopefully, by the time I'm done with these dishes, I'm even less visible than I was before. Hopefully by the time I'm done with these dishes though, it'll be ready to cook. And then it'll be glorious. So tasty. Hopefully. I remember it being delicious. And the secret ingredient, mwah. Secret ingredient good is just good on its own. Let alone on this pancake. Two more dishes. One of the things I like doing when I'm washing dishes is I like to try to guesstimate how long it's going to take me to wash them. So a lot of times after a meal or whatever, when I'm washing dishes, I'll look at the amount of dishes I have to do. I'll look at what time it is, and I'll be like, okay, can I do this in 5 minutes? Can I do this in 10 minutes? Make like a little challenge for myself. That way, a little bit more fun. You gotta make sure you don't compromise quality of washing the dishes, though, because quality beats quantity of dishes every day of the week. Let's clean up the spare water. I'm taking the gander at this. Oh, it's starting to be a little more cooked, but not. I'm going to turn up the heat just a little. Just a little. I think he says to put it on medium-low. Let's see. Yeah. It says to cook it until through. It says about 10 minutes to cook till cooked through. This is definitely not cooked through. Definitely not. So, we're gonna let it cook. Gonna let it cook. Hardest part about all of this is predicting how long things are going to take to cook. And this is case proof positive. Last week it was the potatoes. This week it's the pancake. You'd really think by now I would have learned. Oh, but such is life. Should I reveal the secret ingredient now? I think I will. Because that's going to cook a little bit more. Then we're just going to use the secret ingredient, then we'll be done. So, secret ingredient. I'm going to bring you guys closer. Bring you closer in so you can really see this glorious thing. All right. Make sure I have it facing the right way. I do. The secret ingredient of this recipe is... No! Hot pepper jelly. Oh, that so close to a good reveal. Oh, but this stuff is absolutely delicious. If you've never had this, highly recommend you pick some up. It actually has a very interesting origin story. So back in like the 1970s, I think it was actually 1970 exactly, someone down in Texas had a surplus of peppers that they needed to preserve, and so they came up with hot pepper jelly. It's you have some vinegar flavor from the preservation process. You got some sugar, so it's really nice. You got sweet, you got sour, you got spicy. It's just a very, very well-rounded condiment, and I highly recommend. This brand is not a sponsor. They could be. They could be with as much airtime as I'm giving them. But highly recommend you pick this up. Let's go check on our pancake because I hear it making noises. What we got going on over here? Oh, that center still looks raw. So since the center still looks raw, we're gonna let it cook more. Still gonna cook more. Yeah. So this stuff, like I said, this stuff's good by itself. I'm gonna eat some. I'm gonna eat some. I'm gonna describe what it tastes like because, like I said, it's delicious stuff. So we'll take a little spoonful. There's the heat. Nice. So the first thing I got was like kind of the aromatic smell of the pepper. That's when I first put it in my mouth. That's what I felt. And then it was the sweet. Like the first ingredient is sugar, so it's definitely a sweeter condiment. And then some savory, and now it's that heat right at the end. Ah, oh, such a well balanced condiment. So, I guess we have Texas to thank for this, and I'm very grateful for it. This pancake needs to cook. It needs to cook. It definitely is cooking, but not fast enough. Yeah, that shrimp in the middle still looks kind of raw. This is very disappointing. This was supposed to be done by now. 10 minutes? Longer than 10 minutes. That's okay. Let's shake it, see what it looks like. Yeah, that's still raw. Still raw. We have batter on the finger. It definitely is starting to cook, but not where I want it to be. We'll rinse this off. That is the interesting thing with this method, is since you are cooking it from the bottom up, I mean, if you don't, maybe I didn't do a even enough. Oh, we got no stickage. We got no stickage issues, so I'll show you this. This is pretty cool. If I come here, and this is how you know that it's, see if I shake this. See, the pancake is moving on its own. Oh, I'm very excited about that. That is good news. When we do our confident flip, that's going to come in very handy. But until then, we just have to get it to cook all the way through. I'm guessing there's potential that I didn't do a even enough layer because the center is where it's really thick. And so I probably should have laid the batter in, maybe tried to smooth it a little bit, and then continued cooking it from there. But, oh, perfect. Oh, good. It's almost done. There's just one little spot that's still a little raw. And after that, it's good to go. I'm very excited now. And we do have to, before we take it off the heat, we're going to put the soy sauce on it. We drizzle, 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 drizzle. Then we turn off the heat. I believe we do that. And then we flip it. I don't know why I'm saying things twice. We flip it. We put the chili glaze, the hot pepper jelly. I just say chili glaze. Hot pepper jelly all over it. We slice it open. We take a bite. Mwah! Delicious. So, just a couple more minutes. I appreciate hanging in there. It's been like 50 minutes longer. This is a longer stream than I thought it was going to be. I looked at this recipe. I said, 10-minute cook time? No problem. You gotta factor in preparation. If I had not had to deshell all those shrimp, then a lot faster. So if you're trying to make this quickly, get yourself some shrimp that don't have shells on them. Infinitely easier. All right, I think we're gonna call this good. I'll bring you guys over so you can take a look at what we're seeing. There's one tiny little spot that's still a little. All right, so as you can see, right here is where it's still a little, like when I wiggle it, still a little bit of moisture there, but the rest of it looks really good. The rest of it looks pretty well cooked, enough to flip it over and have it continue. Because it is going to continue to cook once we take it out of the pan. All right. Actually, we gotta figure out where you guys are going to be for the confident flip, because that's very important that you guys have a good view. Let me move this. All right, soy sauce. You know what? You guys should be over here. You guys should be over here. Yes, to see the drizzle. Here we go. Here's the drizzle. Drizzle. Okay. Now the moment of truth. Can I flip this bad boy? Do I want to flip this bad boy? The soy sauce is not soaking in as much as I hoped it would be. All right. We have to flip confidently. I'm going to get a mitt so I can, because right now this feels a little warm. Gotta get a mitt so that I can grab it right here. This is off, so we're good there. Ooh, do I want to do left-handed or right-handed flip? I think I'm going to do the right-handed flip. We're going to flip you guys around so you can see what's going on. Is that a good angle? That is a good angle. Perfect. All right. Here we go. Confident flip. Confident flip. Look at that. Look at that. It's a little stuck. But that looks like a pancake. I'm going to shimmy it onto a cutting board now that I've done a confident flip. But I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. Yowza. This gimbal is going wild today. All right. Now that it's on here, we're going to do a confident shimmy. Shimmy! There we go. Just like that. Now let's glaze it. Cut it up. Take a bite. And that'll be the stream. My glazer. Where's my cutting? Aha! Pizza cutter! Because, very important. All right, we're going to take good old dollop of this stuff. Good old dollop of this stuff. And we're going to spread it. Spread it, spread it, spread it. It's like we're icing a cake, except for it's not a cake. It's a pancake. I guess that is a kind of cake. Has cake right in it. You just don't usually glaze pancakes. Scoopy, scoopy. Now I will say, the recipe says to only use a tablespoon. I don't think that's enough. You gotta get it's like any cake. You gotta make sure there's a good glaze across the whole thing. There's just like that. We have this little area right here that needs a little bit more love. Ooh. Looks delicious. And over here. All right. I think we need take a cut. Here we go. Can you see that? Let's bring it in close. Close-up shot of the pancake in all of its glory. Look at that. Look at that. It's delicious. All right, let's cut a piece. Get a plate. We'll use a bigger plate. Yeah. All right, look at this. We have our shrimp. You see that? If you can. Got the shrimp. Over here, we got a big piece of broccoli. We got all sorts of things. Let's take a bite. We'll do a bite first. Well, let's get a little bit of everything. Get some shrimp. Get some of the veggies. Get some of the dough. It's good stuff. Good stuff. It's a very interesting type of pancake because it's a lot of times a pancake will be here. Let me move. You guys can't even see my. All you see is the top of my. There we go. It's a very interesting type of pancake because it's not like your normal pancake where it's going to be a chewy dough. It tends, because there is so much moisture that comes out of the veggies, it does tend to break apart a little bit, but still tastes really good. You got that shrimp, you got the veggies, you got the, like, it's a whole meal in one. All right, well, that's going to be the end of today's stream.